Difference between @mock, @mockbean, and Mockito.mock. Spring Boot testing explained introduction. When writing tests in Java using Spring Boot and Mockito, you often need to create mock objects. Mocking is used to isolate components, simulate dependencies, avoid real database API calls, write faster and reliable tests. There are 3 common ways to create mocks. @mock, @mockbean, Mockito.mock, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. These may look similar, but are used in different contexts. Understanding the difference is important for unit testing versus integration testing, Spring context behavior, dependency injection in tests. A mock is a fake object that simulates the behavior of a real object. Simple definition: mock equals fake object used for testing instead of real dependency. Example user service equals mock user service.class. This creates a fake user service. Why use mocks? Mocks help avoid real database calls, simulate responses, test only your logic, isolate dependencies. Example concept: real dependency means replaced by mock means controlled testing. Overview of the 3 approaches. Feature: @mock, @mockbean, Mockito.mock, framework, Mockito Spring Boot, Mockito scope, unit test Spring context, unit test injection, manual, @mock mocks, auto Spring, manual use case, unit testing integration testing. @mock, Mockito annotation. What is @mock? @mock is an annotation provided by Mockito. It creates a mock object without Spring context. Example import org Mockito.mock. @mock, private user repository, user repository. Usage with @injectmocks, @injectmocks, private user service, user service. Mockito injects mock into service. Requirements: you must initialize mocks using @extend with Mockito extension.class. Simple meaning: mock means create mock for unit test, no Spring. When to use mock: use @mock when writing unit tests, not using Spring context testing, a single class. Example concept: fast unit test means use @mock to Mockito.mock, manual mock creation. What is Mockito.mock? It is a method to create mock objects manually. Example user repository repo equals Mockito.mock user repository.class. Usage: user service equals new user service repo. Simple meaning: Mockito.mock means manual mock creation. When to use Mockito.mock: use it when you want full control, not using annotations, writing quick, simple tests. Example concept: manual setup means flexible but verbose. Difference between @mock and Mockito.mock. Feature: @mock, Mockito.mock. Style: annotation method call, initialization, automatic manual, readability, cleaner, more verbose. Example concept: @mock means cleaner Mockito. Mock means more control. 3. Mockbean, Spring Boot. What is @mockbean? @mockbean is provided by Spring Boot. It creates a mock and adds it to the Spring application context. Example import org.springframework.boot.test.mock.mockito.mockbean. @mockbean, private user repository, user repository. Usage @Spring Boot test, public class user service test. @mockbean, private user repository, user repository. Auto and TAD, private user service, user service. Simple meaning: Mockbean means replace Spring Bean with mock. What Mockbean does internally: Spring context loads, real bean replaced by mock. All injections use mock. Use @mockbean when using Spring Boot test, @Spring Boot test, testing controller services with Spring context, mocking repository, or external service beans. Example concept: integration test means use @mockbean. Key differences: @mock versus @mockbean. Feature: @mock, Spring context, no, yes. Injection Mockito. Spring use case, unit test, integration test. Bean replacement, no, yes. Example concept: @mock means standalone. @mockbean means Spring managed. @mockbean versus Mockito.mock. Feature. @mockbean, Mockito.mock. Context-aware yes, no. Injection, automatic, manual. Usage, Spring tests, unit tests, example comparison. Using @mock, @extend with, Mockito.extension.class. @mock, private user repository repo. Inject mocks, private user service. Using Mockito.mock user repository repo equals Mockito.mock user repository.class. User service equals new user service repo. Using @mockbean @spring boot test class test. @mockbean, private user repository repo. Automated private user service. Real-world use case unit test. Test service logic only means @mock. Integration test. Spring wiring means @mockbean. Quick testing. Small test means Mockito.mock. Common mistakes. Using @mockbean in unit tests. Unnecessary Spring context loading means slow tests. Using @mock inside @spring boot test. Mocks are not injected into Spring beans. Mixing @mock and @mockbean incorrectly can cause confusion. Example concept. Wrong tool means incorrect test behavior. Performance comparison. Fastest, Mockito.mock or @mock. Slowest, @mockbean, because Spring context loads. Best practices. Use @mock for unit tests. Use Mockito.mock for simple manual tests. Use @mockbean for Spring boot tests. Example concept. Write mock means faster and cleaner tests. Concepts learned. Check. What mocking is. Difference between unit and integration testing. How Spring context affects testing. Mockito versus Spring Boot testing. When to use each mocking approach. Simple definition. @mock creates a mock object for unit testing using Mockito. Mockito.mock creates a mock object manually using Mockito. @mockbean creates a mock and injects it into the Spring application context, replacing real beans. Final summary. @mock, @mockbean, and Mockito.mock are all used for mocking, but they serve different purposes. @mock means for unit tests without Spring. Mockito.mock means manual mock creation. @mockbean means for Spring Boot tests with context. Choosing the right one ensures faster tests, correct behavior, proper isolation. Understanding this difference is essential for writing effective unit and integration tests in Spring Boot.